to participate.
We all have a story, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Amal.
So all welcome. All the stories I said, personal or for your family or anyone you know, you can share everything. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone has a story, of course. Okay. So, Mr. Shankar, are you with us?
Yes.
I know I'm late 3 minutes from your session. Okay.
No,
Let me just introduce briefly. Assalamualaikum. Hi, Mr. Shankar. Hope that you're doing well.
thank you, Amal. So is it okay if I share my screen? And
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just let me introduce a little bit and
Sure.
yeah. Okay. So as we said, this is the last session of today, of day one. So we begin with examining how AI redefine the anatomy of a cyber attack. We move through models of resilience, policy leadership, and real-world narrative. Now we shift from session to sentence. This final conversation is titled AI and the Future of Civilizational Security. The question driven is both urgent and profound: when intelligence becomes autonomous and what mass security becomes. So to moderate this closing dialogue, we are honored to welcome Mr. Shankar Gowri, whose experience in systems thinking and ethical technology make him the ideal guide for this closing reflection. So Mr. Shankar, the floor is yours. And thank you very much for accepting to be with us and to contribute.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amal. Thank you, Ms. Sanam, for the opportunity. And thanks to Free Intelligence Laboratory, if I'm not wrong, AB Global, and also Yes You Can. Really happy to facilitate this boot camp, at least one session on it. I'm going to share my screen and then we will continue. I'm pretty sure that there were very, very valuable discussions today, and it might also make my work easier because there are some points that I also wanted to share. Can any of you confirm if my screen is visible?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. So my topic today is going to be AI and the future of civilization security. This is going to be a culmination of most of the discussions we had, but it is going to have some more depth into it. Now, while I was listening to all these discussions, it just took me to my past, right? So we belong to the previous generation of millennials and boomers, or whatever you might be calling. We see a lot more Gen Z, we see a lot more Gen Alpha now getting into the forte of technology. But if you look at the curve in terms of technology integration, 15, 20 years ago, we didn't have a lot of technology that can easily connect each of us. So today I'm in this session only because technology connected me to Amal and the other stakeholders. But in the past, we used to make these connections very slowly. We did not have Facebook. We did not have any other format of mobile communication which can make it faster. The only kind of media would be television and radio. And then people who live nearby you, your neighbors, and at your school, your classmates, at your college, and so on, right? So you make the connections very slowly, and you also learn to trust them slowly. Now what is happening is that everything is rapid. Everything is door delivered to you, including food, right? But think about it. How much of that can we actually trust now? Things that come very fast also go very fast.
True.
I was also having a cough, right? So before joining this session, however, it's okay now. But one common factor that you might have noticed in all the speakers that the last two speakers also had a cough, right? I'm saying this because you should know that everything around us, the environment around us, the food scene around us, everything is changing. The air quality has significantly deteriorated than the past. The number of times that we fall sick now is much more frequent than what it used to be 10, 15 years ago. You can think about it, right? So why I'm saying this is that you should also think about more ethical ways of living life. It is not, today's discussion might be very tech oriented. It might be about AI, cybersecurity, civilizational security, but there is a lot more to reflect on our own ethics, on our own morality, right? I just wanted to give that prelude before going into the slide. I'm Gowri Shankar. I'm the founder of Dubai AI Community, founder of Space and NXT Labs, co-founder of Recycle and NXT. I'm also a doctoral researcher at UCAM in Spain. I did my master's in University of Bristol. I do a lot of mentoring. I'm also a global ambassador for various AI organizations, GAFI, GCRAI, and so on. Right, so that is just a background as to why I'm doing this session and why it is relevant for me to do it. Civilizational security. So let me introduce this to you. Civilizational security refers to the protection of a civilization's core values, identity, and way of life against internal, external threats, moving beyond traditional national security to address the security of a larger cultural or civilizational bloc. As the name says, this is not simply about national security. This is not simply cybersecurity, but it is a more holistic umbrella that guides civilizations by itself. I will give you some examples, right? What are the threats that we are facing today? The threats that we are facing today might not just be in our hands in the form of mobile phones or laptops. It is also around you, right? Climate change, pandemics that are happening more frequently than ever, nuclear war, biodiversity collapse, large-scale migration, extreme weather events, and critical infrastructure failures. Now, you should note a few things over here. If you try and understand how many of the species, wildlife species, are becoming extinct now in comparison to so many decades in the past, you will see that it has become more accelerated. Right? This is also owing to climate change, but also human behavior. Not just that, large-scale migration. It is said, as per research, by 2060, more than 60 or 70% of the population across the globe will not be living in their home country, which means that they are actually continuously moving in order to search better opportunities and better lifestyle. Not just that, there's one more research inference that I heard at Dubai Future Forum that happened last year. By 2060, you can expect the world to depopulate. What is this depopulation? It means that the world's population can start becoming lesser than what it is today. This has a very large implication, right? All things that we have been doing so far, all different kinds of products, services that we have been dealing with, it is designed for a populating world. It is designed to meet higher population every day. But imagine that the world's population is going to decrease every day. What kind of person will you be? What kind of product and service are you going to offer to humanity, which is on decline? It is also said that Gen Z and Gen Alpha might be the highest or the largest population that ever occupied Earth. I'm going to leave that thought with you, right? Because these are not small things that we are discussing, right? You might think cyber threats, it's affecting me, it's affecting my relationship with my friends. It is not just stopping there. This is a larger picture. As students, professionals, current generation, you need to be more aware about this. The responsibility of my generation is just to give you this information in a very simple to understand way, but it is up to you to find the actual solution behind these problem statements. The concept of civilizational security is often seen as an evolution of or superseding concept to national security. It suggests that a civilization's overall security is a more fundamental concern than that of any single nation within it. We're talking about a global picture, right? Not just individual countries. The protection of essential systems that sustain human civilization, right? I'm going to give you an even more simplistic definition, such as energy, economy, information, and ethics from destabilization by digital or AI-driven threats. So you're trying to protect the energy, the economy, the information, and ethics of entire populations here, right? Because once we understand how to do it, it becomes much more easier to adopt technology and to also come up with protocols that will allow this to happen. There are a few core dimensions of civilizational security. I will take you through them in the next slide. And also some examples I have given to the right of this slide. There are so many AI-powered cybercrimes. I'm pretty sure the last two speakers did a good job highlighting those. Data poisoning and misinformation, critical infrastructure breaches, such as energy, transportation, and healthcare, and AI weaponization and social manipulation. Social manipulation, what is this, right? So I'm not sure if many of you might have heard about this, but let's say there is one message that is coming to you repeatedly on Instagram, on news channels, on every other medium that you see, you will start believing that that is the truth, right? So today, there are so many things happening across the globe, even politically. There are AI-powered strategies that are being utilized in order to come up with this social manipulation, which means that an entire group of people will be made to think alike, will be made to trust an opinion because it is reflecting everywhere, wherever they see. So it is very important for you to remain critical. Whatever news article that you read as well, try to question the reality and the originality of that information, right? So let's look at some key dimensions of civilizational security: digital security, economic security, cognitive security, ethical security, environmental and resource security, right? So these are some aspects of it. I'm not going to go in detail into everything. I have, a few minutes of time left, maybe. But you should know that these are the terms, right, that you should be aware about if you're talking about civilizational security. To some of the attendees here, or to most of the attendees here, this might be an overwhelming information, but you need to know this. This session is about awareness. You need to know about this term so that you can start acting upon it. For example, cognitive security, right? So most of you might be hearing this for the first time. It is about protecting human perception and decision-making from manipulation, right? So I told you about social manipulation. Can you overcome that, right? And cognitive security talks about that. And this is an essential dimension of civilizational security. Example, countering deep fakes and disinformation. So if a person whom all of you admire, whom all of you see as a role model, one day comes up on the screen and tells you to do something, it is most probably we will all think about doing it, at least, right? Because this is a person that you blindly trust and he is asking you to do it. But today's world, today's media world, you never know. You will not be able to distinguish between a deep fake and between original content. So you have to be really careful. As I told you before, anything that comes fast might go fast. So now you might have Facebook, Instagram to make friends very easily. But how much of that can you actually trust? How much of these relationships can you actually trust? Right? So you have to be a bit more critical on that aspect, especially making new relationships, because that is everything about threat and security today. Right? As per the last speaker as well, it is about the trust that you place, that people play with end of the day. That systems, AI systems play with, not just people. Right now, AI systems can also play with your emotions. Business email compromise. These are all key risks. Keep them in mind. If you're operating a business, make sure that your business emails are secure, because if they are compromised, using your business email ID, people can access every other subscription that you have under the business. They can purchase through it, they can utilize it, or they can misuse it, right? Malicious insider. So there might be an employer, there might be a friend or colleague of yours who might be working against you. So you have to be really careful about it. Sabotage. There might be intentional system damage or ransomware. Supply chain attacks, third-party software or service vulnerabilities. For example, you can read about the SolarWinds hack. On the right side, you can see the case study. It basically compromised the global government and corporate systems. And this is an event that happened in 2020, right? So imagine when we didn't have so many talks about cybersecurity or AI, these hacks were still happening. And today, they are much more accelerated. Now, let's move on to the next slide. So, new reality, it's the digital civilizations at risk. Every digital interaction adds to civilization security or vulnerability, right? Keep this in mind. Every word that you type on WhatsApp, every word that you type on Instagram, every like, every reshare, every repost that you do as an individual will have an implication in this society and the civilization, right? So that's the beauty. You can do it right or you can do it wrong. So ultimately, all the threats are tied up to your interaction. If you're a person who doesn't have a Facebook, Instagram, or Gmail account, or any account whatsoever, if you don't have a digital identity, then how will someone trace you? How will someone get to know about you? It makes their task much more difficult. I'm not asking you to become against the use of social media or other platforms. You have to be really aware that the moment you get into these platforms, you are placing yourself at risk, right? Examples, the deepfake scams. I'm not going to go into it. Other speakers have already covered this. AI-powered phishing mimicking executives' voices in real time. We heard from another speaker today that even your voice can be replicated, your video and facial features can be replicated, and your tonality can also be replicated. Now, everything is replicated. Then how will you distinguish between the real person and the replicate? Some statistics I have given towards the right bottom corner. Cybercrime damages projected to reach $10.5 trillion annually by 2025. This is the statistics from Cybersecurity Ventures. So if you are a person who is finding a solution to cybersecurity, then you also have a great demand there, because the cybercrime damages itself is projected to $10.5 trillion. You can tap into that market if you're a person who can actually find a solution. There are solutions, of course, but there will always be room for more. How AI is changing the cyber threat landscape. AI is now used by both defenders and attackers, right? So this is the best part. Technology, mostly like AI, is a double-edged sword. It can help both parties, right? If you're using AI for offensive purposes, such as for phishing attacks, building synthetic identities or deep fakes, or for predicting security gaps in someone else's system, then these are kind of offensive AI systems. Defensive AI systems, these are basically about protection and safety. They will detect anomalies, they will predict breaches, and they will authenticate the users, right? So these are good uses of AI, right, that are currently being used in the industry, whereas the offensive AI are the ones that can cause attacks or threats. Real-world case study, Microsoft using AI for phishing detection in its 365 Defender tool. It has basically achieved 90% faster incident responses. Just by integrating AI into its phishing detection system, it was able to achieve 90% extra speed, right? So that's the beauty of AI. And obviously, we'll also discuss about the negatives, right? So there are negatives which we also saw on the past slides. And if you look at AI and cybercrime, how AI is contributing to this, to solving cybercrime or in order to counter cybercrime, is that it can be used for behavioral analytics and anomaly detection. It can be used for automated patching and incident response. It can also be used to map threat intelligence using ML pattern recognition, machine learning pattern recognition. Now, since our topic is more into AI, cybersecurity, I'm not going delving deeper into AI, although that is my specialty. But as individuals, at least try to make a distinction between what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, what is automation. At least the basics of this, very, very important for you, especially if you are someone into a startup or if you're a professional who wants to bring an AI solution to your company. How do you know whether it is an AI solution, an ML solution, or an automation solution? Because each of this has different kind of threats associated with it, a different kind of protocols that you will have to adopt as well, right? So it is important for you to know the fundamentals. I'm not asking you to read the definitions. Understand them, right? Why is it called artificial intelligence? Why is something called as machine learning, right? You need to know that. And then coming to some more case studies, I'm not going to elaborate, but I'll be happy to share the slides in case you want to go through it. I'm just going to take an example of Singapore Smart Nation. So the Singapore Smart Nation project, human monitoring couldn't scale for national systems. So it is not easy to monitor human beings or any kind of analytics associated with human motion. But whereas AI can easily predict cyber anomalies across infrastructure, and it will also give some triggers and warnings based on early detection, right? So this is how AI is augmenting the existing system or the existing ecosystem. So you can see I have split it into before AI, after AI, and what is the impact. If you look at Dark Trace, a very popular case study, it was not able to easily identify insider threats, but with AI, it was able to prevent ransomware attacks, as well as it was able to give some instant threat alerts, right? So these are the advantages, because you can't always have a human being sitting behind a system 24/7 trying to keep your system safe. AI can do that for you, but human needs to be in the loop in order to audit the AI systems. That is a separate chapter by itself. And understanding risk. So you should know that there are different ways of handling risk. The best way to handle risk is avoid the risk, right? If you feel that using a system, using a website, clicking on a link is going to be risky, avoid that risk. That is the easiest thing to do, but it's the hardest thing to do when it comes to reality, right? We are all very prompt in clicking on links or trying to go into a website. We don't really look at the risk part of it, right? So avoiding is the easiest part, but then in reality, it becomes really difficult to avoid clicking on links. Transfer the risks, right? So this is the next stage. If you think that you can be insured for your risk, like for example, taking a car insurance or house insurance is about transferring the risk. Someone else is taking the risk on your behalf, but you're paying for it. The other strategy is to accept the risk. Now you know that your systems are vulnerable. When you're using a mobile phone, your mobile phone might not have a firewall that your Microsoft laptop has. So which means that your mobile phone is more vulnerable to attacks than your laptops. A hacker will target your mobile phone much more than hacking into your system. So is it possible for you to understand that you are using a risky system and take some actions towards it? And finally, mitigate the risks, right? So now you know that there is risk. How do I go about removing the risk? Just like installing antivirus on your laptop, what can I do about risky systems that I deal with, right? So these are just very simple strategies. This risk matrix is used by organizations based on the likelihood of the risk and the impact of the risk. If you feel that something is going to definitely happen, if clicking on this link is going to be definitely an issue or a challenge for you, then it means the likelihood is quite high. And if you feel that it is coming from a source which is going to create a lot more impact in terms of the implications that you have, or in terms of the effects that it might have on you, if you feel that it is too risky, then this is the combination that you have to avoid. This red region is about high likelihood and high impact. If you think that something is less likely, and even if it happens, it is only going to have less impact, then it is in this low region, right? So have this risk matrix in your brain, right? You don't have to put it on paper every time. When you look at something, when you deal with something, have this risk matrix in your thought process so that it will tell you whether to go about with that action or not. Building a culture of cyber resilience. So very, very simple, crisp points, just like the risk framework that I showed you in the past. It's not a risk framework, basically risk strategy. Make sure that you establish AI-aware risk frameworks and compliance, right? We do have already existing frameworks and compliance. I will talk about them in the next slide, a very brief slide. Make sure that you train your resources, whether you are an employer, whether you are a professor, a teacher, whether you're a student. You can make sure that your peers know about what you learned today. And you can continue to learn. Continuous learning is an important skill of the future world. And take ownership of cloud data. This I'm saying only for those of you who are using cloud. Obviously, everything that we use today are on cloud. And you should understand that data can be actually tapped into by an ethical hacker or even the cloud service provider at any point of time. Did you read the terms and conditions before signing up on that particular platform, whether they will look into your data or not? So you have to make sure that you go through the terms and conditions document. Any kind of tool, like for example, Perplexity, I'm not sure if you're using it. Comet, it's an agentic AI solution. I'm not sure how many of you are using it. But when you try to install any of these generative AI tools, make sure that you go through their terms and conditions. Just copy paste the terms and conditions into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT, what is going to be the implication for me if I'm going to install this tool? Just ask that simple question. It will give you the answers. In the past, we had to go through all the terms and conditions, spend time. Today, you don't have to do it. You just copy paste the terms and conditions to chat, ask what is the implication. It will tell you what the implication is, then decide to install the tool or not, right? So just do this audit yourself. Some best practices: use unique long passwords and password managers when you are storing, when you are creating passwords for any accounts. Update your devices regularly. I'm pretty sure Mr. Barkat, the previous speaker, also mentioned this. You should understand that, for example, Microsoft has launched Windows 11, right, for the laptop. Now, if you're still using Windows 10 or something prior to that, it will stop releasing the patches. It will stop releasing your security patches, which means that someone who is using Windows 10 on your laptop, you are more vulnerable to attack than someone who is using Windows 11. So updating is very important so that these security patches are auto-installed on your phone. A lot of work goes behind your phone and laptop to keep you safe. Although you are prone to attack, the fact that most of you might not have faced an attack yet is because there are many engineers and AI systems working behind the screen in order to make you safe. So that is also there. Never disable security settings or antivirus. Backup and verify your data frequently. Avoid public Wi-Fi, right? So this also was told by the previous speaker. Secure your mobile phone, enable biometrics and remote wipe. So this is basically the passkey part, right? When you're using biometrics on your phone, it means that even someone hacks into it, if they don't have your facial features or your fingerprint with them, they will not be still able to access your system. Unless you're sleeping and they break into your house and show the mobile phone to your face and then they hack it, right? Understand your risk. Your weakest link is your highest threat, right? Your weakest link is your highest threat. Always keep that in mind. Excuse me for a second. Risk frameworks and compliance in the AI era. So these are the frameworks I was talking to you about. They might appear very small, but if you receive the presentation, you can zoom in and look at it. There are so many frameworks already established, right? Especially for professionals or anyone from enterprises attending today. Make sure that your company is a framework compliant, right? Make sure that you go through any of these framework. I have only suggested some, but there are so many out there, including NIST, ISO, NCA, ECC is used in KSA at the moment. Sustainability versus AI. So although it might not be directly relevant to today's topic, but sustainability is an important part of civilizational security. Every time you're using an AI system, you are actually polluting Earth more than what it was before you started using that system. A single large data center can consume electricity equivalent to 50,000 homes, right? So one data center can power a very large city. Excuse me, guys, I'll be back. All right, sorry for that. The cough is back, as I told you. 1 to 2% of global electricity production is consumed by data centers. This is a very, very high value, right? So data centers are consuming 2% of the electricity that is being produced, right? And there will be a 165% global rise in power demand by data centers by 2030. In the next 5 years, you can expect nearly a double increase in the amount of power consumption requirement. And you can see other statistics, including water. Data centers uses very, very large amounts of water. And you should also understand, in order to produce a mobile phone that you're holding in your hand now, it uses 15,000 liters of water. One mobile phone to produce, it uses 15,000 liters of water. And if you're using a laptop, it uses 200,000 liters of water. So every time you are about to discard your mobile phone and buy a new one, please be aware about these statistics. You have already caused pollution. You have already depleted the water table. And how much more of that do you want to do? Right? And this is again tying up civilizational security with sustainability. There is something called the Sustainability Security Index. I have shared the research paper link also at the bottom. The Sustainability Security Index is a tool that measures and ranks countries based on their contributions to global peace and stability by integrating environmental, political, and economic governance with key drivers of instability to promote sustainable security beyond militarized solutions. So what I mean to say is that there is already an index in place in order to measure the security of nations in terms of sustainability, right? So that is why sustainability is quite important. Although this might be my last 2 slides, this is much more important than every other concept that we have discussed today. And the road ahead, what you can do, right, in order to contribute to this, in order to make sure that the civilization is secure, participate in community efforts for disaster preparedness and relief. Security is a shared responsibility. Don't think that your IT admin or your AI systems or your mobile phone will take care of your security. You are also part of the loop. Your decisions are also part of the loop. AI amplifies intent. Use it for defense, not deception. Promote social inclusion, diversity, and peaceful coexistence. This is what is missing in today's world. How much of peace do we actually want? If we can think about peace, then everything else will become secondary. And every other threat and every other security implication that we have today will slowly start dwindling down. Conserve energy and water resources, reduce, reuse, and recycle. And the final point, the future, because this presentation is also about the future. The future is in your hands, is in the listeners' hands, right? I have told you what was the present and what was the past. AI can be used for a very optimistic, utopian future. I call it as AI secured civilization, where you can use AI for autonomous defense grids, real-time threat prevention, and trusted digital ecosystems. However, the same kind of technology that we are using today for our advantage can also become to our disadvantage. It can lead to a dystopian future as well, AI-dominated chaos, autonomous cyber warfare, misinformation societies, loss of control, and much more challenges and implications. AI will define our civilization's destiny, not by what it can do, but what we choose to make it do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shankar. It was really, really rich session, and it was really rich with information that we definitely need to return back and see it again on YouTube and recorder. Thank you very much for your passion and your generosity to give us this contribution. And we have to see you again and again in other sessions and in other summits, in other events, whatever which have event. I will definitely return back to you.
Sure, Amal. It's my pleasure, and I hope I added value to the session. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I don't think that we have time to take questions because it already left only few minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. So please, everyone who have a question, please drop it in the group. Like this, we can do it. And then after, we will share it with the speakers. What do you think?
They can write in chat box, I mean, if they are up to it.
No. I think it's this. We do like this. Okay, so thank you again, Shankar, for all your time, and thanks for everyone to be attended until now. So I think it's the time. So what a day! It was really rich, bold, and truly unforgettable first chapter of this international intelligence lab. Okay, so tonight we didn't just speak about cybersecurity. We opened a new conversation about what it means to be human in a world where intelligence is no longer only ours. So let me first offer my heartfelt thanks to the minds who helped us start strong. To Mr. Raid Hassan, thank you for taking us into the evolving mind of the street. And also Mr. Zimi Rajput, thank you for reminding us that defense is not software. And also for our shift guest, Mr. Ikram, the Director General of PERMA. So your presence really add a valuable and deep and for all your direction and your instructions. So thank you very much, all of you. And finally to Shankar, thank you for closing today with a round table that didn't give us answer, but give us better question. Really that help us to look ahead with both caution and clarity. clarity. So to everyone, to every participant here, you didn't just listen, your engagement, thank you very much for your time, your engagement, because really you engage, you challenge, you remember it, and you stepped into the space as thinker, not just a learner. You were not passive observers today, you were a part of this architecture. So we began to move from awareness to reflection to collective design. And as we rest tonight, as I say to you all, I invite you to carry on the question with you. What is the story you've never told that someone else needs to hear? So this is the challenge. We will definitely, after closing the room, we will share the post and we will share all the instructions. So don't worry. We want really to hear your story. So like someone in the chat, he said, everyone has a story. Definitely, everyone wants to hear your story. Yes, Anam. Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, you have
Please
wanted
continue.
to add something?
Please
Yeah.
continue.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Sanam. Thank you for all the team, and also thank you, Nayab, for such beautiful moderation that you done. Thank you, all of you, and in Thursday, we don't just study the system, we will simulate it together. We will step into defense. So now we talk, I saw also chat, all they say, what is the solution? Okay, you told that don't do this, don't do this. What are the solutions? So on Thursday, inshallah, we will see how to react and how to create. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to all of you, to our facilitator and our growing global community. So
Yes.
it was only one day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just one thing I would like to add here. We could not
Sure.
share our feedback form here today because of the engagement, like the speakers and everyone. So we would love to have your reflections on the link which we will be sharing with you in the group. You can write your feedback about the session, about day one. You can write, and it's mandatory for everyone because we really want to listen your reflection on today's session like we had today. So it's like we'll be sharing in the group shortly, inshallah. Right? Do write your reflection for today, for day one, about all the speakers and what was your the favorite part or the takeaway from day one, right? Yes, continue, please. Thank you. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone.
please, yeah, take your clothes. Yeah. So thank you again, everyone, and you can return back to the YouTube recording that you can collect and re-see it and go deeper of that, because I know it was really heavy information and really valuable information that we cannot get it in 2 hours. It's really definitely need to rewatch it again. So thank you once again, everyone, to being here and to be with us until the last moment. And see you all on Thursday, inshallah, in the next phase of this web lab.
Yes.
So take care and be safe until Thursday, inshallah.
Yes, take care. Thank you. Bless you all. Take care of yourself.